their favor at the moment.
John Hollifield. He beats Gaffney to the corner, and Vincent Munn will check him out at the 38-yard line. First down and 10. So he picks up 12, and Hollifield trying to get to the side and give his team another first down, and does. Tough decision for Don Nealon to sit him down, his co-captain. But it's worked out because he's been productive here in the third quarter. Brandis Bell out of the split back set. Craig Taylor, head down. Bill Thompson says, "You go nowhere." And Tom Farrell says, "I second the motion."
Two high fives, two visiting players. Thompson came up, and that's one of the beautiful things about college football, the friendships, the tough style of play, and yet the respect.
Second down, 5. Ben Reed from Oklahoma is the quarterback. Play action pass. And knocked down.
Eric Lindstrom, I believe, should have been the man, number 99.
And Lindstrom, of course, Degnan was also in there. There's number 99. You think he was in Miami or something, the way he's dressed? Look at this guy. I mean, you and I are up here with the gloves on. He's down there trying to...
Well, you know, one of the reasons they do that is that way they can't be held as easily.
Oh, really?
Bring up that jersey. How you get a lot more difficult to grab the skin than it is to grab the jersey. And offensive linemen, on occasion, have been known to do that.
That pass intended for Brandis Bell. Steve Williams there to cover. And incomplete. Well, I know a couple people they could grab and stop. Namely you and me if they grabbed us around the middle. Ben Reed is down, and he's not doing too well right now. So the quarterback got ripped pretty good that time, and we may see Timko. And suddenly Timko down below starting to loosen up. You know, it wasn't that Timko was such a bad quarterback, Kyle. I mean, here's a kid that when he got his chance to start last year, did all right. They won their first 5 games under him last year and this year, and then they've lost 4 in a row, and they felt they had to make a change. So with a score 12-10, BC by a pair and 14-12 to play. Timko loosens on the sideline. There he is. Smaller, not as good a thrower, but more experienced than this fellow, Ben Reed, although Reed, I think, has handled himself very well today.
He's in trouble.
He's hearing the birdies right now.
Yeah, he is. Reed is a much higher percentage completion passer than Timko is.
4th down and 5. Kelvin Martin. The secret here is hang time. They want to get it high.
They don't want to get it, let him even touch it.
Or kick it out of bounds.
They've done that on their punts today. They've done it on their kickoff today. They don't want to get anywhere near the special team return of Boston College.
Particularly Kelvin Martin, who is number 2 on punt returns in the nation. For our local cable systems, we'll pause now for these messages.
Barbara Bach is an unwelcome guest.
Just get the room ready.
The unseen, tonight at 8.
I know an outstanding value when I see one, and you will too. This beautiful ruby and diamond ring is on sale now at Rogers Jewelers for only $99. For only $99, you can buy this beautiful cluster of genuine rubies and sparkling diamonds. Only Rogers can offer a ring so beautiful at a price so affordable. Only $99. Remember, at Rogers you get better quality and always lower prices, and charge accounts are welcome. So buy now and save at Rogers.
What is Polar Temp?
What is Polar Temp?
What is Polar Temp?
Replacement windows at their best. Located right here in Evansville, Polar Temp manufactures custom-built vinyl replacement windows. They're easy to clean, add value to your property, save precious energy dollars, and are competitively priced. So if you're going to buy replacement windows, don't until you talk with Polar Temp. Polar Temp, just east of Risley's on Old Boonville Highway.
Could he be hearing footsteps? We spoke to Jack Bicknell about the frustration of having never beaten West Virginia.
You know,
I only can remember back, you know, 1 year at a time, but I do remember deep about 1982, 83, 84. It seems like crazy things happen. We are always very competitive, and both of our programs were going pretty well at the particular time. And Doug Flutie, as great a player as he was, we never beat West Virginia when he was here. So it's something that is on your mind. It's not something that our kids are that aware of, but as a coach, I'm aware that we just have played hard every time we played them and have never beaten them.
And John Bronner just carried the football, was tackled by Darnell Warren. I'm sure he's well aware that he's never beaten this club.
Well, what Bicknell has inferred is that maybe he has been out-coached. There was a time they were ahead 20-6 in 1984 and lost 21-20.
Bronner, the lone running back. Bronner on the call. And Bronner right at the 50-yard line. Travis Curtis. Oh, Travis, where have you been? As he tackles the carrier, Bronner.
Take a look. Here's what Travis Curtis is looking at. Curtis, one of the hardest hitters in college football today, been starting since his third game as a freshman. And a little face mask? No.
No harm, no foul, huh?
No blood.
2nd and 10. That can't be right. Make it 1st and 10. That's better, huh? Troy Stratford. Brad Hunt tackling. Also in there was Eric Lester. Pretty good block up front by Steve Trapillo. Big, strong guy, 6'4", 281, senior from Milton, Mass. There's Stratford.
Stratford limping off now. Watch the blocking. Pickett here has his pocket picked as Stratford comes in. And watch this spin move. Good blocking. Here comes the spin. Bye-bye, Pickett.
Boy, Trapillo made 2 blocks on that carry, Kyle.
Stratford, remember, had the bad hamstring, had to miss most of last season because of it.
2nd and 4. Nowhere. Pickett. He was there. And along with Pickett, Darren Witten, an outside linebacker. There's John Bronner. There's Witten. He's a sophomore.
Boy, what a loss that could be. Not just the running game for Boston College, but the passing game if Troy Stratford cannot return.
And an injured West Virginia player. As they huddle around, and we have 12:24 to play here in the 4th quarter. Stratford on the far side, and now an injured West Virginia player down on the field. And Stratford has come back. He seems to be all right, and they've replaced Jim Bell. So Bell will go out. Troy Stratford is in. And this is one of the few games, Kyle, it seems in a long time that we've seen a healthy Troy Stratford. 12-10 BC coming back.
Elsie, have you learned your English to live in America?
I would be missing you very much, Grandfather.
Saying goodbye is never easy, but with AT&T International Long Distance, it's easy to say hello. A 10-minute call to Japan can average just 95 cents a minute. Only AT&T keeps you this close anywhere in the world.
Well, USA Sports continues its tennis coverage with the Seiko Super Tennis from Tokyo. Ivan Lendl defends his title against a top field that includes Boris Becker and Jimmy Connors. Tuesday at 11 Eastern and Pacific for men's tennis. Stay with us, won't you? USA. 3rd and 3. Sean Halloran. And he has his man complete over here, and it's Peter Casparello, the tight end.
Terrific decision that time by Sean Halloran. Stratford was picked up by the linebacker, and they just made that commitment. If they were going to run it, that would be fine, but they wanted to stop the dump-off pass to Stratford. They stopped it, but it went to the tight end. Here's a look. Stratford at tailback. He swings out. He's kind of the safety valve that has been used so many times. Halloran finds Casparello, 85.
And now he finds John Bronner. And Bronner stumbles down close to the 10-yard line. Stacy Smith on a quick hitter up the middle, tackling Bronner. But Bronner has done some good running here. And Boston College is getting closer.
Look at the offensive line. The lead blocking Trapillo is there, Joe Wolf. And John Bronner is not a small man for anyone to take down.
Boy, that was a big 3rd and 3 call, Kyle, to get them the first down. Otherwise, they may have been forced to give it up. And now they've got a chance to take it in. Jim Turner, the fullback, blocking. Stratford. And Troy Stratford trying to keep it right in the middle of the field. Gets it inside the 10. Robert Pickett is there. Darnell Warren is there. Warren wasn't supposed to start, but because of the injury to Jeff Castro, who blew out his knee on Tuesday, Warren is starting and played very well. There's Troy Stratford. He started out, now he'll come back. He didn't want to go there anyway. Picks up 4, 2nd down, 6. Marcus Cherry is... Now they bring him off and bring in Chuck Gregory with a wide receiver.
Double tight ends for Boston College.
Hudgens and Casparello, and a whistle and a flag, and somebody drawn off.
Against West Virginia, nose tackle made contact with the helmet of Darren Twombly, the center for Boston College. And Chris Parker's the man who gets called on it. A sophomore mistake. There it is, teammates telling him it's all right, but it really hurts here. As it was 2nd and about 6, this will change the situation dramatically.
Dead ball foul, contact foul by the defense, half the distance to the goal. Second half.
Parker, the man that was in violation, he has a brother that plays as an offensive tackle. Scott, who's a redshirt freshman, a 275-pounder. What do they feed those kids in that house? 2nd and 2. Bronner again. And they're getting close to 1st and goal. Halloran, incidentally, 12 of 20 and 107 yards passing. Well, his passing completion percentage has been just terrific, Kyle, the last 3 or 4 games. As I mentioned at the top, he was 40 of 58 in the last 2 games coming into this one.
And it is 1st and goal. Good day for both quarterbacks in completion percentage.
1st and goal at the 1. BC trying to stretch a 2-point lead here in the 4th quarter. Troy Stratford, nothing. He's back at the 1, and it was Robert Pickett. Matt Smith, Lockwood.
Have you ever had a diving board break before you get to spring off of it? That's a horrible feeling. Watch this. Or a pole vaulter when his pole breaks before he gets up in the air. That's just what happened. I don't know that he got back to the line of scrimmage. He did not. They lost a couple of inches. There's the surge of the offensive line.
Robert Pickett was hurt on the play, and there he is. They bring him over. BC, incidentally, a 2nd down and 1. There's Mr. Pickett.
Robert Pickett.
From Miami. They've got a lot of kids on this West Virginia team out of the Florida area.
Hurt his lower back as he had to bend over backwards.
Sean Halloran from the far side. Halloran, who went from 1st team to 3rd team and back to 1st team because of injuries, has been good.
Bronner.
John Bronner. And he penetrates the plane and gets BC 6. And they're a big 6 points now because they lead it 18-10. And West Virginia has controlled the ball pretty well when they've had possession offensively.
Take a look at the surge of the offensive line on the right side for Boston College. Trapillo, Wydell. And the offensive line made it. That was the play that they ran moments ago to get the first down inside the 1-yard line. Full house backfield. Bronner, the center fullback.
And so now they'll kick the extra point or try to get it done. Brian Lowe will be the kicker. And Lowe's had a good day. 4 field goals. This extra point. And Boston College now with a 9-point lead. We have 9:34 to play. And we're coming back.
Now that we're a family, some things have become a lot more important to us. When we had our home insulated, we were concerned about our heating and cooling bills, but we were more concerned about fire safety. So we selected CertainTeed InsulSafe 3. InsulSafe is non-combustible, thermally efficient fiberglass insulation. Sure, saving energy is important to us, but insulating safely is what InsulSafe is all about.
Reichhold is a company you've probably never heard of because we make the special chemicals that keep the paint from coming off the walls and keep the couch from coming unglued and keep the floor from going its own way. Remember Reichhold.
Reichhold?
Because Reichhold chemicals make all kinds of products do just what they're supposed to do.
Did I miss anything? Only the commercial.
Reichhold chemicals. We do the most unheard of things.
We're back in Morgantown. Eddie Doucette, Kyle Rowe Jr. and Boston College has just scored. And there's the summary for you. They're saying 68 yards now. Time of possession 4:32, and a large John Bronner carrying it in from 1. And now it's 19-10 with the extra point conversion.
And an important extra point conversion. That means that West Virginia has to score twice to be able to catch up with that 9-point lead. For young Brian Lowe, only a sophomore, who kicked that extra point, he just set a new Boston College record in today's game. Most field goals in a game with the 4 out of 5 that he has kicked.
Fulton is back deep.
Come on, Andy Hilmer!
Roman Nelson and Jamie Lamont are up, waiting for the kick here from Brian Lowe. And he's going to knock one down the middle of the diamond, it looks like. And Fulton takes the pop at the 38-yard line. Man, did he make a quick change of direction, didn't he? Steve Williams, the tackle. But I can't help but go back to that big 3rd down and 3 play that Halloran made to the tight end. With 11:58 to get the first down to keep the drive alive, and of course eventually they take it in for the score. That was a big call, Kyle.
And again, that was the call on which they had nullified Stratford, who was Halloran's primary receiver, but he found the tight end for the first down.
Benny Reed's all right. He's still out there in Hollifield to the 43 and out of bounds. Gaffney, Romanowski, Creshpane. That's the escort. The escort you don't want. And it just hustle him out of bounds. There's Ben Reed. 13-23. So he took a little trip down Strawberry Lane for a while there. We heard the bells and saw the birds. And but he seems to be back all right. 2nd down, 4. John Hollifield inside the 50 to the 49.
And another first down.
McPherson, Romanowski, and assorted Boston College players watching. There's Hollifield. That's all here in the second half. He's been a good one. Their leading rusher so far this year and last year as well. 1st down and 10. Ball at the 48-yard line. West Virginia with 19 first downs. They'll make that 20. What a pop. Vincent Munn, you could hear the leather from afar, as that time it was Mr. Smith.
Well, Ben Reed should go over there and apologize to Harvey Smith. Smith scored him the touchdown. Vincent Munn had a perfect opportunity to explode into Harvey Smith as the pass was thrown a little bit too high. However, Reed has had a very good second half. He was 11 of 15 before that pass, now 11 of 16, and has been particularly adept at these quick look-ins to the wide receivers.
2nd down, 10. Ball at the 48-yard line. Play action again. Prentice Bell to the 10. Carl Pelagata. Garrett McPherson. And West Virginia has it.
Got a zone defense in the secondary coverage here. Grannisville goes in the seam. Will have some late reaction as there's a wide receiver even higher up on the far side. Pelagata got himself turned around, got his back to the quarterback, did not see the ball when it was in the air as he tried to react. And a real good route being run by Grannisville to find the open seam as the ball was laid in there perfectly by Ben Reed.
1st and 10. Ball on the 10. And that time trying to get inside the tackles and nowhere to run with the ball, and carrying was John Hollifield. Hollifield, Ted Gaffney. Well, you got to give Gaffney a lot of credit. Torn rotator cuff, missed last week, back in there today. And he's been the focal point in a lot of the tackles, and he calls the defensive signals. Number 57, there he is. 7 minutes and 53 seconds to play. It's 19-10 Boston College. But if West Virginia could score here, well, I think you know what I'm saying. Hollifield, lead block, Taylor to the 8 and maybe to the 7.
Ben Reed, you saw him violently trying to keep both receivers on the same side. He wanted to get the Boston College defense rotated to that side of the field. Here are the linebackers. Romanowski on the top side. He's going to have to try to fight off a block. A good block on the inside for West Virginia by Milton Redwine. The tackle on that side to set up that pickup by Hollifield.
And the lead block in front of the runner that time by the fullback, Craig Taylor. So now it's a 3rd and 7. All right, another whistle down on the field.
Well, if we think back to the East Carolina game, it was about from here where Smith caught the pass from Timko in the corner when they had a lot of yardage to pick up with not too many downs left, and it's beginning to rain here in Morgantown.
3rd down and 7. 7:09 to play. Picked off, intended for Hollifield. And here comes Lindstrom. Eric Lindstrom, the outside linebacker, dropped back into the pattern and back to the 33 with a big turnover.
Well, obviously Boston College watching the same films we were. Lindstrom is back there trying to get the ball to the outside, and Eric Lindstrom stands up. Ben Reed has been so good today about not throwing bad passes. But if there's one that he'd like to pull back, obviously it would be that one.
Pretty good. You can see the rain in the background. A 30-plus yard return. BC with the ball. 34-yard line. Boy, they got nothing there. Jim Bell. Well, you talk about that 6-inch plate of armor and trying to run through it.
Here's the strange thing, Eddie, is that Hollifield was the wide receiver on that play that Lindstrom intercepted. And perhaps did not run, don't want to make a judgment that he ran the wrong pattern, but it just didn't look right.
Well, Kyle, if he did run the wrong pattern, it's not anything new. That has been another one of the problems, according to Don Nealon. And again, BC just trying to use some clock now as it's moving along. 6:17 ticking away. They just want to hang on to the ball now. With the rain coming, it could get a little slick down there. Jeff Lucas, co-captain. And here he is, that old slick fella, going to that poncho. Jack Bicknell. He'd like to get a win, head home, and jump on that pony and ride for a couple hours.
Oh, yeah, it's like plane crashes that you can walk away from. That's anything is successful. You just want to get out of there. Don't care how it happens, just get away.
3rd and 11. Oh, here's a big play right here. Stratford. You got to hold them there so you can try and get the ball back. And it brings up a 4th down and 1 now.
Got a punt. Let's take a look. Watch the shoulder move of Stratford as he comes through the line. The dip of the shoulders. There's the move. Whoop. Picks up another 4 or 5 yards, but doesn't get the first down. There are yards short, and the punting team for Boston College is on the field.
Jamie Lamont is standing at his 20-yard line. David Rooney will punt, but before that happens, we'll have a timeout called by Boston College.
Well, a member of the punting team was not there, and very smartly, Boston College called the timeout to avoid the risk, or the greater risk, of a block. And there you see Jack Bicknell shaking his head. How in the world, at this stage of the game, can a man on the punting team not know it's time to go on the field?
Well, somebody will answer to that. And, of course, the special teams coach has got to answer to Bicknell. It's 1910 BC. Coming back.
Choosing a life insurance policy can make anyone feel helpless. You're at the mercy of strangers. Your hands are tied. You feel pressured. But help is never too far away. With Prudential, your agent has the time to talk to you, listen to you, and work with you until you have a piece of the rock you're comfortable with. No wonder more people choose Prudential for life insurance than any other company. You'll feel right by the rock. Prudential Life Insurance.
I've been shot at, shot up, and shot down. So I don't take chances on anything. I won't touch a filter that isn't from AC. Why mess with air filters that can't go for up to 30,000 miles? Or oil filters that can't deliver up to 15,000? For the AC Delco retailer nearest you, just give me a call at 1-800-AC-DELCO. If you put your muscle into a job, use your head and do it with AC Delco.
This Wednesday night, join us at the Landmark Hotel in Metairie, Louisiana, as John Duplessis goes against Clifford Gray in our 10-round junior welterweight main event on Wednesday Night Fights on USA. That's coming up.
Metairie and Duplessis? He did well.
Yep, well, two-set, you know, Metairie. Got some similar bloodlines in there somewhere. All right, what do we have? Jamie Lamont. And the ball will bounce at the 30, kick back and out of bounds at the 33. And, of course, everything's starting to get a little frayed as far as the emotions and the tempers are concerned. The kick teams out there trying to get their licks in. There's Eric Lester, the linebacker that was injured. He played a terrific game. He was involved in a lot of things. He looks like he could tear a few trees down, doesn't he?
Yes, he does, but his thoughts are not on trees. They're on knees at the moment.
And that knee is getting some ice. First down, 10, 5:07 to play. That's the delay that time to Hollifield. And the first to get there was Tom Perrell. There's number 72. Perrell took a lot of lessons from Mike Ruth, who's now with the New England Patriots of the NFL. Now, you got to make things happen when you have possession of the ball. Turnover, turnover, TD, punt, turnover. 3 turnovers. That's brutal. And he underthrows, does Reed. Harvey Smith trying to go to Keith Wynn, one of his tight ends. Third down, 5. Ball is on the 34. Clock is stopped with 4:32, and there are the numbers for Ben Reed. Not a bad day, 201 yards. Well, West Virginia survived the first quarter, which has been their nemesis all year. Last year, they were 7-3-1. This year, they're 2-4 and possibly 2-5. And down goes Reed, and in comes Mike Degnan. Another sack for Degnan. He had a knee sprain coming in, but he's not playing that way today. He looks pretty healthy.
Take a look. He's going against Koch in the center, 57. And they're unable, as a little twist is being done on the interior line of Boston College. Good move by the defensive line of BC. And that inexperienced offensive line of West Virginia unable to pick it up. Had 3 offensive linemen blocking 1. And left Degnan wide open.
What's up, James? Timeout call by West Virginia. Now Don Nealon will call him over here. They want to make sure and keep the ball away from Kelvin Martin. They've got Flutie and Martin back deep on the punt. Remember, Martin, the number 2 punt returner in the nation, 20.3 yards per return. Lance Carrion is the punter for West Virginia. And as I mentioned earlier, the one thing that perhaps concerned Don Nealon more than anything about this game was trying to figure out a way to get the punts high enough to keep it away from Kelvin Martin, or at least give the kick team time to get down and cover. He said if they kick line drive kicks to Martin, you can forget it. You can write the script right now. Well, next week, USA Football 86 will head down to Lubbock, Texas. And the old Red Raiders are going to roll out the carpet for Kyle. And he'll take on the Longhorns of Texas. That'll be starting at around 1 o'clock Eastern time, right here on USA Sports. There's your punt. Not a very high kick. And return to the 45-yard line.
I believe that's the first punt return of the day for Kelvin Martin.
That's it. They switched sides. He had lined up on the other side. This time he came back this way, figuring they're going to try and use a little of the wind and angle it out of bounds. Pat Marlatt and Matt Smith were there to help on the tackle.
One of the early scores announced here moments ago was that Texas is leading SMU by a touchdown. SMU undefeated in Southwest Conference play, but of course ineligible to go to the Cotton Bowl, and we'll see the Texas Longhorns in Lubbock next week.
And Fred Akers trying to save a job, it looks like.
Oh, from the assault to the alumni.
One alumnus from the Dallas area said, get him out of there. And now various people in other quarters are coming to his aid. Well, it should be interesting to see what develops as USA will see Texas and Texas Tech next week.
Well, much like Don Nealon, you know, he's taken them to 9 bowl games, I think, in 10 years. Couple of Southwest Conference championships. Has almost a 75% winning record down there at Texas, and you wonder just the echoes and the ghost of Darrell Royal that you can't get rid of.
There are no off years. You can't afford to let down. There's Troy. In Stratford, he stopped near the 50-yard line. Stacy Smith, Travis Curtis, Chris Herring, Darnell Warren, all around the tackle.
Big third down play. If West Virginia wants to have a chance to win this ball game, they must keep Boston College from getting this 3rd and 6.
Stratford now 22 carries and 81 yards unofficially. Well, it's good to see him healthy. He's a fun man to watch. Best day he's ever had in the Cotton Bowl in '85, 196 yards. Troy again. Fumble. First indication, at least.
Well, you know, there's a lot of biting and...
Biting?
Yeah, biting going on down there.
They haven't had lunch either, huh?
Oh. Get in there, and the referees are very reticent to get their hands in there. They want to pull bodies off. Put a stick of hand in there, you get bitten. Take a look here. Once again, Troy Stratford. Watch the lateral moves here. There's one missed tackle. Another dipsy-doodle there. Anticipates what's getting ready to happen. Did the ground cause the fumble or not? In any event, Boston College given possession of the ball.
He's a nifty little runner. First down and 10, BC. They're controlling the ball on the clock now as we've run it down to 2:10 in the 4th quarter. Bronner, big, strong guy. He doesn't start at the fullback position, but we've seen them twice this year, and both times he's run well. Travis Curtis, the senior free safety, was there to meet him. Pretty good guy to take down, as Bronner mentioned before, 2:23, and there's your clock. And it's rolling. Both teams with 2 timeouts remaining. Jack Bicknell about to break the jinx and beat West Virginia for the first time since he's taken over at Boston College. And on the other side, Don Nealon may get his first loss against a BC team. Bronner again, Larry Holly. Well, I'm a little surprised that BC's not been able to pick on Lockwood, one of the corner people. He looked like the most susceptible to any breakaways.
Oh, but you don't need it if you got Bronner and Stratford running the way they've been running. And I think at times you did mention, though, a weakness there, and I'm sure the secondary of West Virginia, when they've been in those coverages, has tried to give him some additional help and not leave him in single coverage against the Kelvin Martins or the Darren Flutys.
We're under a minute to play, as you can see. Bronner with 8 carries, 50-plus yards. Let's give it to the big man. Let him squeeze the old football. I'm going to squeeze the bladder out of that thing.
See if West Virginia's going to call a timeout. If they're just going to let the clock continue.
Now, I know these are tough times for West Virginia and their fans, Kyle, but I got to look at some of the kids that they've got in the wings, some of the freshmen down in their weight room yesterday, and heard some reports and saw some film, and they could be a pretty good ball club here in the next year or so. But, you know, you have to have years where you're going to be down to recycle it. It's not always going to be up times. And now they'll go into a protection type of an offense. Let the clock roll. We're under 20 seconds. And BC, after losing to Rutgers, Jack Bicknell getting the congratulations, comes back with a win over Cal. Lost a close game by a couple points to SMU. A tough one to Penn State. He beats Maryland in a surprise and then stomps Louisville, and now he is a 4-3 coach. And he says this was the key game. From here, they've got a chance to add to it and possibly end up with an 8-3 year and a bowl opportunity. There's Nealon and Bicknell, two friends, two good guys. And I'm sure Don Nealon is saying, quite frankly...
He's saying 4 turnovers, Jack?
Yeah, right there he's saying, remember, inside the 5 at the 4-yard line, 4th and 1, what was I thinking about?
And Jack is saying, well, you remember the punt we fumbled a couple of years ago?
Yeah, how about last year, fumbling the ball on the 1-foot line?
A lot of empathy.
That's why this series is so exciting. Final score, BC 19, West Virginia 10.
The American dream is one of hope and possibilities. We're GMAC, people who help make dreams come true. First, we made automobile financing easy. Now, home mortgages, financing for a boat, even MIC insurance to keep your dreams safe. We're the financial services people from General Motors. GMAC, official sponsor of America's dreams.
There are lots of furnaces you can choose for your home. But for the most efficient energy, forget all but the gas furnaces. And to cut energy costs further, consider only the high-efficiency gas furnaces. Of those, only one has advanced pulse technology, the Lennox Pulse Furnace. It will make your heating more efficient.
Take it from Dave Lennox. You can save a lot of gas with a Pulse.
Attaboy, Dave!
Gas, America's best energy value.
A 1910 final. Boston College finally gets out from under the hex and comes over to West Virginia and wins the ball game. The first time that they have won a game in this series since 1977. And remember, even though they haven't played every year, the series goes back to 1925. So Jack Bicknell has to feel good for 2 reasons. That, plus the fact that he's now won 3 games in a row and is 4-3.
And also he's found a field goal kicker.
Oh boy, didn't he?
Despite the fact that Brian Lowe's aerodynamic ability was kind of inconsistent. He was consistently between the 2 uprights. Sometimes kicked them low, sometimes kicked them high. But he scored on 4 of the 5 attempts that he had today, and they were not just chip shots either. The 37, 39, and a couple of ones at 41 yards. So that was a difference in the game. And Eddie, I'll have to say I was really surprised. I expected a lot more touchdown scoring. Did not expect it to be the defensive struggle that it was through the first half. And did not think that field goals would be the real difference in the game in terms of how points were going to be put on the scoreboard. So we take a look at the turnovers for West Virginia. Of course, that was the key. The 4 field goals for Boston College, 4 turnovers for West Virginia. And the Mountaineers, Don Nealon, a little bit prophetic, as we heard in the early part of the game in his voice interview that we did with him, saying turnovers were the key. Coming into today's game, their turnover ratio was -9. They've added another -3 today, as Boston College's only turnover was the fumble that Troy Stratford had. And of course, the turnovers that they had on their side of the field, the fumbles and the 2 interceptions at critical times, really made a big difference.
All right. I understand that we have one of the members of the Boston College Eagles standing by and an opportunity to talk. And look at here. Come on, John, smile for us. There, that's John Bronner. And, John, this is Eddie Doucette with Kyle Rowe Jr. We're up here in the booth. And we noted at halftime that you were a little slow coming out of the locker room, but yet you got on the field. You did a terrific job. Were you not feeling well? Was there something wrong?
It was just a situation where my contacts were giving me trouble, you know. It's that kind of thing that, you know, you have other players that can fill the spots, and, you know, I had trouble with it, and guys got in there and they did the job, and I'm okay right now.
John, you had 9 carries unofficially for 60 yards.
Thank you.
You had a big contribution, some big plays at a time when the game could have been close.
Right.
How come they didn't go to you more in the first half?
Well, as you know, BC is a passing team, and we like to, if we can't take control of a ball game, and the best way to do that sometimes is to throw the ball real quick, first down, second downs, whatever, and just put some points on the board. We felt in this defense that we could run against it, and Troy proved that we could, and the other backs ran the ball well. And Sean, it was just a thing where we had to get our confidence and balance the offensive attack. So I think we proved it today.
Well, John, we're seeing right now why you're a speech communications major, because you're explaining yourself so well. Tell us a little bit about the offensive line, because these guys who protected Flutie for years, they've been around a long time. We're taking a look right now at your touchdown from 1 yard out.
Right.
And between their blocks and Jim Turner leading you into the end zone, they pretty much picked up the yardage for you.
Well, as you can see, after the Flutie years, our offensive line had a little trouble last year, coming together as a unit. And this year, we have young players, we have some older players. Steve Trapillo, I think he's an All-American candidate. He's pulling the team together. We're getting confidence. Sean has his confidence, and we're doing well. We're coming together as a unit.
Tell us a little bit about Sean. You know, many times a player that gets injured or a player that gets benched, as Sean was, and went from first team to third team, can kind of be sent almost an outcast. They get that label. How did he handle it, and how did you treat him? Because I'm sure many of you realized you might need him again before the season was over.
Well, the key thing there in Sean's situation was the coaching. Coach Bicknell, he's told us that we should have confidence in ourselves, and he's giving Sean ample opportunity to prove himself, and he's just backed him 100%. The team has backed him. We've pulled together. He's pulled us together as a unit. And the thing is, all our quarterbacks can play. All of them can play. And Sean just took his opportunity, and he capitalized.
John, you're now 4-3. You've got some games ahead of you, which really, realistically, going in, you've got a great chance to win.
Right.
You end up 8-3, you're heading to a bowl. I'm sure you're well aware of that.
It would be nice.
You got any ideas about where you'd like to go?
Well, right now, we just like to win the rest of our ball games. We've got some tough games coming up, some tough opponents. We have a few of the good games at home and a few of them away. So it's just a thing that where we have to pull ourselves together every week after a win and prove not only to ourselves, but to everybody in the nation, the bowl people and everything, that we can be an exciting team without or with exciting players such as Doug Flutie. He's contributed a lot to us, but we have to go on. This is a new era for BC.
All right, John, congratulations. Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you for spending a little time with us, and we'll be watching you and following your exploits here in the weeks to come. John Bronner's been our guest. We'll have more when we come back. We're at Mountaineer Field in Morgantown on USA.
He's not a national hero, but every year, thousands of people turn to him for protection. He's an independent insurance agent who rides with the Kemper Cavalry. He knows insurance. His job is to scout out the best values for your auto, home, life, health, or business. And when the chips are down, he's a good man to have on your side. Once you compare Kemper, you'll ride with us.
Excuse me. What would you say if you could make more out-of-state calls for the same amount of money? Even during business hours?
Well...
Trained specialists, there when you need them. What if the company offering you all this was AT&T?
That's a horse of a different color.
The new AT&T Pro America plan. 10% off for just $15 a month. And AT&T. Call 1-800-222-0400. AT&T. The right choice.
Yeah, Tabasco. It's 19-10. That's the final. Boston College has defeated West Virginia here in Morgantown. And joining us now is the man who is, I'm sure, very, very happy. The head eagle himself, and that's Jack Bicknell. Now, Jack, you finally found a way to chase away that cloud that's been chasing you around here for the last few years.
It seems like every time we play West Virginia, something crazy happens, and I'm on the sideline, and I'd like to say I've got a lot of confidence, but I got that feeling that it's going to happen again. But our kids just hung in there and played, and I was real proud of them.
When it was 12-10, we had a close-up shot of you, and I made the comment, I think maybe he's got an idea that the footsteps are very close by.
Anybody that says that they don't believe in that stuff is lying to you. I'm just saying, geez, what do we have to do to win? And then we made a good, long, sustained drive, and that was great.
I thought the key to that drive, Jack, quite frankly, was that big 3rd down 3 call and the pass to the tight end, and that kept the drive going, eventually got you the score.
It did. That was a key play. Plus, we decided to give the ball to fullback because they were slanting up front and pick off the nose guard and go opposite him. And I think the fullback had some good opportunities in that drive also.
The renaissance of Sean Halloran, the man who at one time was kind of in the outhouse, now back in the spotlight. And on that particular play, Stratford, the one that we're talking about that was the pass to Casparilla, Stratford was picked up by their defensive end or their outside linebacker, and there was no opportunity to throw to Stratford, and yet he read that and was able to go downfield.
Yeah, that's our read screen play, and we have a tight end that we can go to, and boy, that was a big play because you got to keep the drive and you got to keep the crowd out of it, and we weren't doing a very good job of that. And once you take the crowd out of it, then it's just another game.
You've played very well this season, particularly against the SMUs and the Penn States. Your defense has begun to come around. In previous seasons, you've won a lot of ball games with your offense, and this year it looks like you've really put some responsibility on them.
We have. I'm very pleased with our defense. I was surprised that West Virginia could run as well against us as they did. I have a lot of respect for their running backs. They really run up in there hard, but I'm pleased with this defense. They came up with big plays.
One of those big plays was an interception that occurred earlier, or just a few moments ago, inside the 10-yard line as Ben Reed backed off. And on the outside, Eric Lindstrom moved right into the passing lane and picked off the pass. Holyfield was a wide receiver on that side, which we were a little bit surprised to see. But Lindstrom almost pulled it back.
I'm almost sure that was a broken play. I'm almost sure they went to the wrong side. They probably want to go the other side because they just stared into the corner, and Eric, just happened to step in front. And then I thought he was going to go all the way, but he got tackled.
I'm so glad you said that. I thought that they misread that.
Well, I thought they did, but Donnie would know that.
You know, Jack, this is turning out to be a very interesting story, this whole thing with Sean. We were there in game 2 when you started Mike Power, and the kid did well and broke the foot, and then you came in with Camp House, and it was almost like there wasn't a chance for Halloran. He could have crawled into the shell. He didn't. A lot of credit's got to go to him.
I'm very proud of him because I took him out after the Rutgers game and moved him from 1st to 3rd. A lot of kids would just start sulking and, pouting and what are they doing to me. He just hung in there, and little did he know that in 2 weeks later he's going to be back in. He's playing very well, and we're playing well around him.
One last quick thing. What did you and Don say to one another on the field at the end of the ball game?
Well, I've been down the bumpy road a few times, and Don was talking about the play. I didn't get the whole thing about, they forced the ball into that one that Lindstrom got. But Don's struggling, but he's one of the finest football coaches in the country, and he'll get him straightened out. I thought he had him straightened out for us.
You're a fine coach, too, Jack, and now, of course, with a little luck, 8-3 in a bowl, possibly.
Well, I'd love to think of that, but boy, I tell you, we're struggling so much one week after another that I'm worried about Army. We still haven't stopped Army's wishbone from last year, so we've got a lot of work cut out to us.
Well, Jack, interesting year. A lot of things are starting to work. You refinanced the house. You're going to go home and ride that pony and have a good weekend.
That's right. Thank you, man.
Okay, Jack, thank you very much. We'll be back. Final comments when we return to Morgantown.